Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the Armourer. My name is Victor, and today again I'm joined by Blue. What we're planning on doing is scoring each and every spoiler that we have so far for Dusk Till Dawn, and we'll rate it.
So we have the new Prism, Awakener of Soul, with the ability that whenever a herald is put into her soul, during the action phase, you may search your deck for a figment and put it into the arena, then shuffle. And then once per turn instant for 2 resources, you can banish a card from your soul to awaken the figment, which basically means flip.
On the first glance, it seems like Prism will be a strong hero, of course. But what are your observations, because you've actually played the deck?
So far, I like it. Overall, the way I rate her right now is 4. She can very easily become 5 if people figure out how to combat her bad matchups.
I was going to say it looks like it will be a very playable hero, and a lot of people will try to play and figure her out. So
Yeah.
I'd say 4 again. So we agree on 4 stars on this one?
Yes. Then we have the new Luminaris, which is once per turn instant for 2 resources. Target angel attack or attack action card with Herald in its name gets go again. So this basically enables you to give go again to your heralds and or angels.
I don't know, but I was going to say at the beginning we were calling this the Luminaris at home because it's
Yeah, it definitely is.
actively worse than the old one. I would definitely score this with 2 stars, but considering it's the only weapon, and if it stays the only weapon, then we'll have to score it with 5 because there's no other weapon that Prism will play.
I'll give it a 4 or 3 because technically there is a possibility that you can just try to play Prism with her old Auras and Iris of Reality. Next we have the new legendary armor piece for Illusionist. It has once per turn instant for 1 resource. This gets ward 1, which is horrible and you probably never use it. But then it has, if a card with Herald in its name has been put into your hero soul during your turn, the first hero ability you activate this turn costs 2 less to activate. So what this equipment allows you to do is with 6 resources, you can attack with a 2 mana Herald, and if your opponent does not break it or block it, you can give it go again with Luminaris, because it's at instant speed, so it's basically a reaction. When it hits, it will search you a figment off of Prism, and you'll be able to flip that figment for free, and you still have 2 resources left available, and the angels do attack for 2 resources. And this sounds good, but the problems I have with this card are that in some aggressive matchups like ninjas and or assassins that have access to Kodachi or Kodachi-like cards, I feel like having angels on the field during their turn is not as beneficial. And in the other side of the matchups against heroes that have a ton of 6 power cards, your heralds will not be hitting that much. So I will rate this with 3 stars at the moment, if I have to be honest.
Yeah, I'd go with 3 as well, because I think Tunic is still, I think, better at this point from the cards that we've seen, giving you the extra resource, but we'll see. 3 from me as well.
Next we get finally to the good part, which is the figments. Figments are basically the angels, and we have 8 copies of them, 1 for each herald. And we start with the best one in my opinion, which is Figment of Erudition. So all Figments are Light Illusionist instant, and all of them are legendary, so you can only have 1 in your deck. And this one says, when it enters the arena, create a Ponder token. And a Ponder token is just going to draw you a card at the end of the turn.
It is one of the better ones, and if I have to say, the art is one of the better ones. Definitely one of the better figments at this point. I'm thinking this will be a must in every deck that actually plays angels, so I would give this a 5-star rating at this point.
Yes, and then the flip side, Soraya Angel of Erudition, is all angels are basically 4 ward, 4 health, 4 attack, and attack for 2, and they all share a when attacks trigger that goes off if you banish a card from your hero soul. So this is when Soraya attacks, you may banish a card from your hero soul. If you do, draw 2 cards.
Which is the insane part, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, card advantage, as with every game, we know how powerful it is. In this case, this is definitely one of the must-have angels in your deck.
Yes, it's just insane. One of the best things you can do with this is, if you have the Figment on board, you can pitch 2 blues basically with 6 resources. You can flip her even if you do not have Empyrean Rapture. You can attack with her, and because this is a on attack trigger, you immediately draw 2 cards. You can give her go again with the Luminaries after that, and then you can
And follow up with something. Yeah.
The next Figment is the Figment of Judgment. So this one is very interesting. It says when this enters the arena, you may turn a card in any banish zone face down. And then on the flip side, it says when it attacks, you may banish a card from your hero. So if you do, turn a card in any banish zone face down. This, at the beginning, seems like just maybe a sideboard slot against Shadow Heroes. But the most useful thing I have found about this Figment of Judgment is actually utilizing it with Hallow of Illumination. Hallow of Illumination is an old Monarch common equipment that for 1 resource allows you to put a light card from your hand into your soul and then draw a card. So with this,
and
you can
weirdly,
basically...
very weirdly, the cold foil of that card went up to 40 or 45 euros overnight just because of this.
Yeah, very weirdly. So yeah, what this allows you basically to do is to, during your opponent's turn, put a herald from your hand into your soul, draw a card so you don't use your resources outside of your Hello, and this will trigger your Prism and you place a Figment from your deck onto the field. And with this one, what you can do is, against ninjas, you can, you know, like, let's say Katsu attacks with something, it triggers and Katsu banishes the card that he can play until the end of the turn. You can at instant speed just flip it. If they crack Mask of the Pouncing Lynx, you can once again just say hello, put this onto the battlefield, turn the card they banished face down, and they can no longer play it. Next we have Figment of Protection. This is another one of my favorite ones. I'm going to rate this as 5. This is when it enters the battlefield, you create a Spectral Shield, and then on the flip side, it says for 2 resources you can attack, banish a card from your hero's soul, and if you do, it creates 2 Spectral Shields. The great thing about the Aegis Archangel of Protection is that it creates 2 Spectral Shields which basically covers 2 Kodachis, so it kind of protects itself from that type of deck, which is what makes it great in my opinion. So I'm rating it with 5. Then we're to Figment of Ravages, which I'm going to rate at like 4 or 5 maybe. It is, when it enters the arena, deal 1 arcane damage to any target. So,
which is great for the mirror.
Yeah, on the flip side, it is Sekem, Archangel of Ravages, which has the effect where you can punch a card from your soul when it attacks. If you do, it deals 2 arcane damage to any target. This is really going to be a very useful finisher for Prism.
It is, and even if they add 1 arcane, I mean, because obviously you won't need more than 1. This is like the Vexing Malice. It comes for 2 arcane, you prevent 1, the other one goes lethal. If I have to rate Sekem and I have to rate the previous Figment, I'd definitely go with 5 on this one and 4 on the previous one.
Then we have Rebirth. The effect is not that bad. It gives you recursion. It can allow you to recur one of your most powerful heralds, being a Herald of Erudition, which also draws you 2 cards on hit. And on the other side,
Avalon, Archangel of Rebirth. Once per turn attack. When Avalon attacks, you may banish a card from your hero's soul. If you do, put a yellow card from your graveyard on top of your deck.
So Avalon can actually allow you to recycle one of your Figments. So I'm going to rate this at like at least 4. Like it's just decent.
I would go with 5 because of the recursion thing.
Then we get your Figment of Tenacity, which is probably like one of the worst in my opinion. It says your next attack this turn gets Dominate, and on the other side says if you do your attacks this turn get Dominate, so it gives Dominate to all of your attacks. This is not that incredible because it's going to be
Considering one of your attacks will be like 4 dominate.
Yes. And then you have to consider again that Luminaris is a once per turn instant, so realistically you're only attacking twice per turn. So I'm going to rate this as a 3-star Angel right now, that you will play simply because you need more Figments if you do need more Figments.
Yeah, I can agree. It's a 3-star thing.
Then we have Figment of Triumph, one of my favorite Figments. It says, when this enters the arena, attack action cards your opponent controls get -1 this turn. The reason why this Figment is one of my favorite ones is, once again, the Halo of Illumination interaction. So whenever your opponent goes for something like Art of War, draw 2 cards, give all my cards +1 this turn, you can go Halo, bring Figment of Triumph, and basically cancel out the Art of War. Flip side, it's Victoria, Archangel of Triumph, which has an even greater effect, because if we attack with her, attack action cards our opponent controls get -1 until start of your next turn.
Yeah.
Which is very, very
Insanely
nice.
good.
This angel is just very, very powerful.
The thing is, it is very powerful because you're always comparing everything with ninjas and assassins with the Kadachis and spiders bites and whatnot. But think about when you play this card against Lavaya, because they want to banish 6 cards, and it's just, they don't say when attacked, they just say attack action cards your opponent's control get -1, which means that if they banish a 6, it'll be automatically 5, and they'll just get into Blood Dead.
So the next angel is going to create a Courage token, and the Courage token is a new token that we have that says, when you play an attack action card or activate a weapon attack, destroy this and the attack gains +1. So this is hardly relevant at all for Prism. And on the flip side, when you attack with it, it puts a +1 attack counter on each angel you control, and it's permanent. So I'm going to rate this with like 3.
I'd go with 3 as well. Angelic Descent, target attack action card with Herald in its name gets go again. This is not bad at all. Your next angel attack this turn gets +2. I think this is one of the cards that will see play. Not necessarily in constructed, but it will.
I have a hot take in that case, because I think this card is awful, and I think I'm going to rate it with 1.
This is definitely a card created for limited play, as you said, or commoner or whatnot.
Yeah, like the problem I have with this card is like you have to, like, obviously you play it to give an angel, a herald go again, and instead of that you can just pitch it for Luminaris to give the herald go again.
To get it go again, and it has no block.
So that can be
still,
cool.
I'd give it 2. Okay.
Then we have Celestial Reprimand. This is a 0 cost, no block again, Illusionist instant. Target card defending an attack with Herald in its name gets -2 power this combat chain. This card costs 0 and Blinding Beam costs 1, so this is just strictly better. If we have a red version of this, it may be playable against Guardian, but then again, running a 0 blocks against Guardian seems like a bad time anyway.
It's a suicidal mission,
So I'm going to give this a 2, simply because it can have a use case. And then, like, the last Light Illusionist card that we have is Celestial Resolve, which I'm hoping we do not have a red version of, because this card is just insane. This is target attack action card with Herald in its name gets +4 defense. So this is just
the red one will be 5.
Yeah, but this is just straight up a better reinforced line for Prism, because in that build you'll probably be playing like 80-60% Heralds anyway in the deck, and this just becomes a 0 for 5 on the red one is just going to be insanely good against Guardian, right? Bravo coming in with like 11 dominate, and you just say, okay, block with 3, and then a Celestial Resolve for 5, blocking 8, no crush effect goes through, and you're just fine. In my opinion, very, very good card. I'm going to give it a 4 at the very least.
Same. The red one will be 5, definitely.